Tallulah's treasures, that he rarely read it, and so he missed the posts where Winnie complained about some of the trivial but irritating details of their domestic life, sometimes even going so far as to suggest that she'd be happier if she could just stay home and write, with Frederick close by for comfort. And smoke. Yes, Des disapproved of his wife's sneaky cigarette habit, but she felt that nicotine helped her connect her thoughts sometimes. Didn't the writer Winnie most admired in all the world, Polly Penham, confess to treating herself to a cigarette from time to time to help the writing flow, as she polished off yet another funny, clever, adorable romantic comedy? Polly's books featured likeable yet ditzy young women whose antics could make Winnie laugh aloud as she sat and read them late at night in bed, Des grumbling at her side. Maybe Polly's next book would feature an American blogger with a Maine Coon cat. Winnie could but hope. Des understood how much his wife's dreams of getting published meant to her, even if he was sometimes jealous of the time she spent on her writing. If he was honest with himself, not with her, that would have been a mistake. He had just never thought it would come to anything. Now it seemed that her efforts had been validated. He came and stood behind her, one hand on her shoulder, and read the email that was open on her screen. To Winnie@Tallulah'sTreasures.com from Morgana at morganablakely.co.uk. Subject: Winning writer in our online competition. Dear Winnie, thank you for submitting a romantic scene to our online competition. Entries came flooding in from around the world and the standard was very high. We're delighted to tell you that our judging panel, which included the organising committee of the RWGB conference and the award-winning writer Polly Penham, thought your contribution was outstanding. You have been chosen as one of the winning writers in our competition. Congratulations, Winnie. We would like to invite you to come to London to meet my agent, Lex Millington of Millington Bustle, for afternoon tea and a chat about the publishing business at this year's Romance Writers of Great Britain conference, which will be held at the Coram Hotel in Bloomsbury, London. After tea with Lex, Polly Penham will meet you and the other winning writers to share tips about her success. Later, we will get together with members of RWGB and guests from the industry for a gala dinner at the hotel. Your accommodation costs will be met for the night of the dinner. Please let me know if you are able to attend, and once again, congratulations. Morgana. Des noted that the email promised very little other than chats with various people. Even the airfare wasn't included, from what he could see, but for Winnie this was to be the start of everything. She was overcome with happiness. Des bent and hugged his wife. He could feel her trembling as he put his arms around her. Whatever happened, even if this was to be another disappointment shared with readers on the Tallulah's Treasures blog, Des was determined that they would celebrate. He went to look in the kitchen to see if they had any white wine he could chill in the fridge. Maybe they could invite some friends over for barbecue tonight. Winnie pulled the cuff of her sweater down past her right wrist and over the heel of her hand, and wiped her eyes with it. She took a couple of calming, slightly shuddery breaths. Then she began to compose an email accepting the invitation to go to London. She thought it was the beginning of everything. Des, out in the kitchen, a pack of lamb chops held to his nose to try to detect whether the meat was still fresh enough to serve to guests, was not so sure. He thought he might try to take a few moments later on to downgrade her expectations, even knowing that it might make her angry with him if he tackled the subject with all the tactlessness of a long-married husband who cares too much to lie to his wife. It did make her angry. Unfortunately, though he would later wish for it over and over, Winnie would not live to hear Des say to her, "I told you so." Carrie Pugh was getting her roots done at home in Cardiff, South Wales, in the United Kingdom.